Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Hi, everyone. This is Eleni Levine from the ISE. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us this afternoon. I'm actually taking over for Steve Meisinger as your host. Just a quick reminder for everyone, if you have any questions, please submit them through the Q&A chat box, and Jason Ayres, who's going to be presenting today, will try to address them at the end of the webinar session. So we're excited to have with us this afternoon Jason Ayres, an independent trader and an investor for over 10 years, who's going to be presenting on trading currency options with flexibility. Jason is president and founder of OptionSource.net and has been providing education and opportunities in the stocks and options market over the last 5 years. OptionSource.net is one of Canada's leading educators in trading stocks, options, futures, forex, and commodities. In addition to overseeing the day-to-day operations of OptionSource.net, he actively advocates and promotes the use of options for managing risk, cash flow, and leverage. This includes the development of numerous strategic relationships with some of the most prominent brokerages and exchanges in North America. His expertise extends to standard equity currency options and commodity options. Jason also currently hosts ISE's highly popular FX Options Weekly podcast series. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely check it out on fxoptions.com. And I'm going to turn it over to Jason.
Hi there. Thanks very much, Eleni. It's great to hear your voice again. It's usually just through emails that we're communicating, so I hope all is well. It's always a pleasure to obviously be part of the webinar series that the ISE puts on, and tonight, of course, we're going to talk about trading currency options with flexibility. So, of course, our objective is to really take a look at some of the different strategies that we can implement using currency options and try to do that based on some relevant observations over the last couple of days that we've seen. So, again, thanks very much for a very nice introduction, and I won't waste any more time. Let's just move forward with the presentation. So, as always, as I mentioned, we want to talk a little bit about some of these different strategies using some real-time relevant observations, but I want to just reinforce the fact that this is for educational purposes only, and I don't want anybody to necessarily go out and start clicking the buttons based on what they see here this evening. Always recognize, of course, that trading any market, you run the risk of losing your capital, so you want to make sure that you are educated and obviously exercising a very sound risk management strategy before you actually go in and start trading this market live. So on that note, as I mentioned, what we want to do this evening is talk a little bit about how we can use the FX options market to trade some of our currency views. And the ISE has really come a long way with respect to the currency options that they have available. You can see here on the slide that we're currently looking at that there's a number of currency pairs that we can utilize to trade our views based on where we think ultimately the U.S. dollar is going. And in fact, what the ISE has done is not only did they start out with ultimately introducing these currency pairs with a U.S. dollar base, but they've now actually introduced some currency pairs as a reciprocal. So you can see that you can trade not only the U.S. dollar against the pound and get a quote based on that, but as you can see, you can also trade the currency pair value based on the pound as the base currency, and you can go through the list and really take a look at what there is available. They've developed a fantastic site. It's www.fxoptions.com. Unbelievably put together, just a pretty slick-looking site with a lot of great information and education on there. So I highly suggest, if you haven't already taken a look at this particular site, then make sure you do. That's where you're going to find more than enough information to get acquainted with the FX options market that the ISE is offering. A couple of key characteristics that we want to really sort of keep in mind when we're looking at trading the FX options. First of all, what makes them very unique is a sense that these options are accessible through most of your standard brokers. So really, anywhere that you can trade your typical equity options, you're also going to be able to access these FX options. And why we really promote this, particularly to our members and our students that come through our program, is that not everybody is necessarily going to look to trade the spot market when it comes to currency. A lot of people want to take advantage of and are fascinated by just the ebb and flow of the currency market, but not everybody is going to be trading the currency market on from a spot market trading perspective, because ultimately that requires accessing a different broker. But when you're looking at these FX options through the ISE, you can trade them through any of your typical option brokers that you would normally be trading your equity options through. They're cash settled in U.S. dollars, which also makes them an attractive market to trade, because at the end of the day, because these pair values are traded as a notional index, which means essentially there are no shares exchanged or there's no real underlying product exchanged. The index is simply used as a benchmark to price the option contracts, and so settlement is essentially it's in U.S. dollars. So you're not going to have to deliver X number of dollars of yen or X number of euro, so on and so forth. You're going to see the difference between the strike price, whether it be a profit or a loss, the difference between the strike price and your the price of the index will be settled in U.S. dollars. And of course, because this is a notional index, the positions are European style exercise, which means ultimately there's no risk of early exercise or there's no risk of early assignment, because there's nothing to exchange hands. But of course, you can buy and sell these option contracts at any point throughout the life cycle of the option contract. So a little different from what you would be used to from an equities options perspective, but what's great about this market is we've got the same flexibility in terms of creating strategies that we would be used to in trading standard equity options. So let's take a look at essentially how we could trade our views using these FX options. And I just recognize I've got a spelling mistake on the top of this slide, so please don't hold that against me. But nonetheless, it was actually quite a busy day today in the office. Those of you that were following the markets will know what I'm talking about. We've had a lot of movement today, so I was kind of putting this together while I was trading, and so such is life. But anyways, really, there's three sort of ways that we would look to participate using FX options in trading our views. The first is of course, ultimately trading a directional view. And some of the strategies that we have available to us, of course, the typical buy a call option or buy a put option if we're either bullish or bearish, the U.S. dollar against a particular currency. We could create bull call spreads or bear put spreads to lower the cost basis of our position. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we move forward as well, obviously. Directional butterflies with a little more of an advanced strategy, but I'm going to give you guys an example of that. This ultimately further lowers our cost basis and our risk exposure, but some limitations with this strategy. And finally, directional condors, which is just essentially a variation of the butterfly. So we're going to, from a directional perspective, we're going to take a look at these four strategies surrounding a particular pair value that I've been observing over the last couple of days.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.